Kia ora, my name is Michael and I'm one of the admissions specialists here at the University of Auckland. Today I will be showing you how to submit an application to the University of Auckland using our Apply to Study system. The first thing you'll need to do is navigate to our website, which is auckland.ac.nz. This will take you to our homepage, and from the homepage you will easily be able to access our application form. At the very top you'll see a blue banner here which says Apply for Admission to Study. When you click on this, it will take you to this page here, and in this section it will say Start your application for admission. Once you are ready, you can click on the button here that says Let's get started, and it will take you to the login page. If you're new to the University of Auckland, you won't have a username and password, so you will need to create one. To do this, you'll just need to scroll down here, and in this section where it says New to the University, you can click the button that says Register for a new account. If you have any of these accounts, then you can register using them and your details will be carried over. There will be some information that isn't captured by any of these providers, so you will be asked to enter these at a later stage. Alternatively, you can click on Register Manually, which will take you to this form here. You'll be asked to enter your name, and if you have a preferred name that's different from your full legal name, you can enter this here as well. You'll need to enter your date of birth, the email address that you want to use, and you'll be asked to choose and confirm a password. Once you've read and accepted the ITE Acceptable Use Policy and Disclaimer, you can click on Register, and this will create your account. Once your account has been created, you'll be taken to another screen, which will ask you for further details. This will ask you to enter some questions about your demographics, your contact details, and if you need any health or disability assistance from the university. When you click Next after you've finished this section, your details will be updated and you'll be taken to the start of the application. As I already have a login, I'm just going to sign in using those details. When you have finished the form, you'll be shown this screen here, which will welcome you to the application form. There is some information here that will tell you that your progress will be automatically saved should you need to return at a later stage. So if you leave your application, then anything that you add to it will be automatically saved, and you can come back to it at a later stage. There will also be help boxes next to each question, and we'll give you tips and explanation as to what that section requires. Some documents may be required as well before you can submit your application, and the documents you need to provide will be shown to you on the screen. Once you've read that, you can click Get Started, and then you'll be asked some questions to begin. The first question you'll be asked is what your first language is. And there'll be various languages listed, and if your language is not listed, you can enter it here, and then when you've entered the name of the language, you can select Other, use what you typed. The next question will ask you whether you're applying using an international agency, a study abroad, or exchange partner. If you're not sure what this is, you may not be applying through this, so you can just leave it as no. If you are applying using an agency, you can select yes, and you'll be asked to enter the details. When you're done with this section, you'll be asked to enter your academic history. The first section will ask you if you studied at tertiary level, which is study at a university or polytechnic, somewhere other than the University of Auckland. If you have studied at bachelor's level or higher, then you can select yes, and you'll be asked to enter information about this. It will ask you where you studied this qualification, the name of the university, and what the qualification name is. Similar with the language, we will try to list as many institutions as possible, but not all of them will be listed. If you can't find the name of the university that you're looking for, just type out the full name and then select Other, and you can use what you typed. With the qualification name, similarly, you can find a list of all of the qualifications that are possible, and try and select the one that is most similar to what you have completed if the exact title is not there. You'll then be asked whether the qualification is complete or in progress. And then you'll be asked to enter when you began and when you completed the qualification. When you've entered all of that, just click on Done and it will save and tell you the section is complete. If you do have additional study to add, you can just click on here, which will allow you to enter another qualification. The next question will ask you if you studied at foundation level, which is a pre-university preparation program somewhere other than the University of Auckland. If you haven't studied at foundation level, then you can leave this as no, and then you'll be able to move on to the next question. In this section here, it will ask you if you want to apply for credit from courses that you've studied previously. So in most cases, being eligible for credit will depend on what you're applying for. If you are applying for a master's degree, having completed a bachelor's degree, then you would leave this unselected as you would not be eligible for credit. If you are transferring from one bachelor's degree to another bachelor's degree and you want to have your credit assessed towards the program that you're applying for, you can select yes. If you leave this unchecked and later want to apply for credit, this is also possible. In this next section, it will ask you to add all of your secondary school or high school qualifications, including any that you are currently working towards. You'll be able to select the country that you studied in, the name of the school that you attended. If your school is not listed here, then similar to the other section, if you type out the full name of your school and then click on Other, use what you typed, and it will save the name of the school there. You'll then be asked to select the name of the qualification that you completed. And for most countries, we will try and list the qualifications that are possible to study there. If you did study something else, then you can also type in the name of that. And similar to the other sections, you can choose the other option. You'll then be asked to say whether this qualification is complete or in progress, and when you completed the qualification. If you don't have anything further to add here, you can just click on Next, and it will move you on to the next section. As you can see up here, it says that the application is saved, which shows you that for each time you move on, everything you enter will be saved. This next section will give you then the option to choose the program that you are applying for. Depending on what you entered on the previous page, we'll show you what programs you can apply for here. For example, if you've only completed secondary study, then you won't be given an option for postgraduate programs. As I have entered tertiary study, it will give me options for all the eligible programs that I can apply for. In this example, I will be applying for a master's degree, and I will click OK. Once you've selected that, it will bring up a new box that will ask you to select the program. This will list all the available programs under the master that you applied for, or that you are applying for. So these will list all the different masters. You can either scroll through to see the different options, or if you know what it is that you're applying for, you can type in the beginning of it and it will give you the results. In this example, I'm going to be applying for a Master of Science, and then it will give me some further information to read about the program. It's worth reading this information as there may be something important, and once you have read this, you can then move on to select your major or specialization. This will list all of the majors that are available under a Master of Science. As you can see, there are quite a few results. So if you don't want to scroll through, you can also type in the name of the subject that you want to apply for. In most cases, there might be more than one option for each major. So there'll be a 120-point variant and a 240-point variant. And depending on what you studied previously will depend on which one you will apply for. If you've only completed a bachelor's degree, then you will likely need to apply for a 240-point. As in my example, I've only completed a bachelor's degree, so I will be picking the 240-point option. Once you've selected the major, it will tell you here that you've reached the maximum number of majors or specializations that you can apply for. That's fine. And all you need to do is click Done, and it will tell you that this section is complete. This next section will then ask you when you want to start your studies, and it will tell you the available upcoming semesters. If the semester is not listed, it will either mean that the program is not available to start in that semester, or applications haven't yet opened. So I will be selecting semester 1 and click OK. This next section will then ask you what campus location, and in most cases you'll just need to go by the default option, which for this program is the city campus. You'll then be asked if you've been awarded a scholarship or other funding that will pay for your University of Auckland tuition fees. If you have been awarded a scholarship or other funding, you can click on Yes, and it will ask you to enter the name of the scholarship or funding provider. If you do have more than one, then you'll only need to enter the name of your primary scholarship. If you haven't been awarded a scholarship or you do not have funding, then you can just leave this as no. When you're done, you can click on Next, which will take you to the next section. This section will ask you to provide supporting information that will help support your application. In most cases, this will ask you to provide the documents that will allow us to make an assessment of your application. Depending on where you studied or what you studied and the program you applied for, you may see more options here. In this example, it's asking to upload an academic transcript, and this is the very minimum that we require to make an assessment of your application. If you have studied outside of New Zealand, you may also be asked to provide completion evidence. If you don't yet have this, then you won't need to upload it just yet, but you will need to provide it at a later stage. But you will need to provide an academic transcript for us to make an assessment. When you need to upload a document, please note that you can only upload one document per section. So if the document you're trying to upload has more than one page, then you will need to combine it into one single PDF before you upload it. If you have studied in New Zealand, or you have an account through MyEquals or CHESICC, then you can also release your digital transcript through to us. Once you have uploaded your transcript, you can click on Save, and it will upload the transcript for you. Please note there is a 10 megabyte file limit, so larger files might need to be compressed. If you accidentally upload the wrong document, you can delete it or replace it. When you click on Next, you'll then be asked to review and submit your application. Before you do this, you'll be asked some additional information, which is information collected for statistical use by the Ministry of Education and the University of Auckland. You will be asked what the highest qualification held by your parent or caregiver was, and what your main activity or occupation in New Zealand as of the 1st of October in the year before your intended enrolment. And just select the one that is most applicable to you. You'll then be asked to review the information to make sure that you've applied for the correct program. So in this example, it's a Master of Science in Geography, and it's the 240 point, the intended start date and the location. You will then have a declaration to read, and it will ask you, and you'll need to read this information before you are able to submit. If you're happy with the declaration, just select I agree, and you'll be able to submit your application. You'll then be told that your application is now complete and what the next step is. So what will happen next? You will receive an email acknowledging your application, but note this may take up to 48 hours. It won't be immediate, as the application will need to process through our system. You can check the status of your application at any time by logging back into your application. and will contact you by email to inform you about the result of your application. And as you can see here, it says that the application is currently submitting. As mentioned before, it can take up to 48 hours for your application to submit, so don't submit an application again for the same program. Once your application has been submitted, you will receive an email acknowledging this. Thank you for watching the video today on how to submit an application using our Apply to Study system. We look forward to seeing an application from you in the future.